I would ask you the same question, my friend. The question I have for you is, what is the most underappreciated part of humanity? Whenever you're ready, good sir, the floor is yours.
That, as Lenny says, you're part of a community, and it's only as a community that you make progress. We tend to overrate individual accomplishments, I think, sometimes in our society, and really it's the team accomplishments. I remember watching, I'm a huge golfer. They're great winning individual trophies, but you never see the excitement and almost the absolute joy that they have when they play in the Ryder Cup or the President's Cup, because they're performing as a team, and they don't want to let their team down, and they want to contribute to the team, sharing the necessity in this life to live for others rather than for yourself. And when I was thinking about this particular one, I remembered a couple of quotes. A duke is talking to his second in command and telling him, "Thyself and thy belongings are not thine own so proper as to waste thyself upon thy virtues, they on thee." And here's the important line: "Heaven doth with us as we with torches do, not light them for themselves. For if our virtues did not go forth of us, 'twere all alike as if we had them not." A torch is that you asking us to be torches so that others can find their way. And I think teaching, the act of teaching, not just in formal educational situations, but everyday teaching, being an example to your peers or to your children or to young people of how to think, how to behave, that's a very, very unappreciated. And of course, teachers are extraordinarily underpaid. And this led me to realize that the other thing that is sometimes underappreciated is the other side of teaching: learning. Learning is something that I think is an underappreciated. I remember reading a statistic one time that the majority of Americans never read a single book after they graduate from high school. I can't even imagine living a kind of life where you don't read a book for 50 years. And that brought me to the other thing that I think is very underappreciated, which is language. Just language itself. Language is not a naturally occurring phenomenon. It's something that the human race invented over hundreds of thousands of years. And the astonishing thing about language is that a 5-year-old can master it. You can have another person communicate their inmost thoughts, which you couldn't do without language. You can ask for things, you can contemplate things, you can share things through language. Language is really an extraordinary piece of human culture that we sometimes undervalue, and we don't realize how complex it is and how incredibly miraculous the acquisition of language is from the years that you are in the womb, hearing the rhythms of language.
Dakin, can helping others be a key to fulfillment and growth? Whenever you're ready, good sir, the floor is yours.
The whole point of the life of learning is not so that your head gets bigger, but so you can empty your head and give it to other people. So I don't think there is any more important goal in life. If you have been as fortunate as I have been, my life has not been full of hardships. I've had a wonderful career in 2 different disciplines. I've learned an enormous amount, but what am I going to do with it when I'm 6 feet under? That learning isn't going to help anybody. The only value to learning is that it can be passed on. That's what the human experiment is. We are born with very big brains, but we're the most unprepared animals ever to be born. The point of being born unformed is so that the culture can form you. In fact, we are able to understand almost all the secrets of the universe because we start from as an empty tablet, as they say, as an empty chalkboard. But that means that people have to give us information.
Right now, we're going to kick it over to Mr. Bruce Davison, who will make a case for the Oregon Trail as a lost film that needs to be found.
I want to talk about a film that was made in 1936 called The Oregon Trail. And this was back when they were doing the Republic two-reeler westerns, and they were just getting started creating the myth of what became the cowboy story. And this starred a young actor that had just done some starting roles, and he never really got it. And it was his first role, and that was John Wayne. And John Wayne was in this film, and it was made by Republic. And a lot of them, after they were done, they would just burn them up and try to get the silver nitrate back out of that to make the next black and white films. There was a guy, Robert Sigmund, and he was looking for it, and it had disappeared because all the prints had gone. And it's sort of the lost relic because it's the first one before John Wayne ended up doing Stagecoach and became the star that he did. But it represents more than anything what was just at the birth of that era and that legend. Everybody keeps looking for it. Nobody's been able to find a print of it yet.
Guys and gals and pals, I'm going to kick it over to Mr. Bruce Davison, who will make a case for The Power Broker as a book that should be adapted to the screen.
When I was younger, just out of college, I read the book and I thought, this is one of the most interesting characters that I've ever read. And he so represents the power structure that happens in our country. Actually, the title is called Robert Moses and the Fall of New York. Robert Moses built everything in New York, all the roadways, everything. But he started out being an idealist, a man who went in and tried to run through New York politics, and he was crushed. So he figured, I'm going to go back in and I'm going to learn this. I'm going to learn how to game this system. And he does. And once he does that, no one could stop him. He would barrel through freeways and bridges and everything else, destroying towns and communities all through New York City. At the end of his life, it sort of reads like The Godfather in a lot of ways. And I think it would be a great, incredible part for someone to play that character, because it represents where things twist up out of our own idealism, how it grows and how it can be corrupted and how it can cause incredible damage.